You're listening to the Bailey and Cronin Show. If you're easily offended, then you need to fuck off. Lock and load because the Bailey and Cronin Show starts now. Bailey and Cronin starts now. Now.
We did an episode called Pocket Pussy.
We did. It was Dave Rose and like Pocket Pussies and it was all fucked up. Welcome to episode 8, everybody, of Bailey and Cronin. Let's just shoot, man. Let's just do a shoot.
Okay.
So like, I feel bad because you're gonna think that this is like some kind of fucking trial or something.
What do you mean?
Well, I was going to say, I was like, we've been trying to do the Bailey and Cronins, and I've been a big reason why like we couldn't do them like a week and a half ago because I slept in or whatever. And then, you know, obviously your wife had the trouble. Like, so it was like, well, this is, right. I actually thought, well, this is off for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So, like, that's what I thought. Like, we got to just put everything on hold and he's got problems. But you guys really bounced back pretty quick with stuff, although you're still dealing with a lot, but, you know, you're still functioning. But also I was like, damn, maybe he'll call me in the morning, but instead, you know, you're fucking throwing cafes together with Tommy and playing video games. Like, why don't we do a Bailey and Cronin in the morning?
We do the cafe at 7 a.m. and every time you're usually in bed at that moment.
That's true. That is true.
So
I don't wake up till about 10, theoretically. Yeah.
Well, the Titty Tavern thing that I've been doing in the mornings has just been like before March Madness, so that's not like a normal thing either. Yeah, we have scheduling issues. We always do, but I feel like with this one, we're taking it a little more serious.
Yeah.
Because we're 8 episodes deep, and we do try to record when we can. And even like last night, like the odds of me being on my, like, think about if that had been 2 years ago or a year ago, right. I wouldn't have been there.
Yeah. Well, it was amazing that you called in last night. That was a bonus. People don't understand. Like, some people don't quite get. I try to put the information out there, but there's people even lagging behind that are so lagged behind on stuff that, you know, aren't up to date that they even said, "Wow, how come Bailey's here? I thought he couldn't be on anymore." So like they missed the whole information drop of you coming back even. So like, you know, it's basically the whole point of this is we try to do as many shows as we can together. And
yep.
But the fact of the matter is, we're not going to stress out people's family lives to be on a show, on a YouTube show. You know, I mean, I'm going to do the best I can to keep trying to build these shows so that maybe we can, you know, get everybody paid a little better. That's been talked about for years. But right now, it's not worth it if something's going on in people's lives, or even if you just need. Dude, I know this is real because I'm here and I'm just doing this most of the time and taking care of kids and stuff like that. And there's days where, dude, I sit down and I play a Madden game like finally at like the very end of the day, and I start feeling way better because I'm not thinking. It's like I'm always thinking or working or moving or doing. And when I sit down on the couch and I start playing Madden, I start feeling better. Do you know what I'm like? It's weird. It's like you're.
No. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like, I think it was Thursday evening. You know, she had to go back to the emergency room and all that, blah, blah, blah. And I had to take care of the kids all day. But then once the kids got to bed, she got to bed. I watched Justice League or Wonder Woman, something like that. But it was like, I felt so like relaxed.
Right.
Because I was able just to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like decompress, maybe?
Yeah, that's what it's just it's like you can shut your mind off and you're just playing a game. It feels way better. It's like, oh, this is nice. But it's not the same if I were to stream Madden. Like if I was streaming Madden, it still feels like I'm doing, like I'm have to entertain people and do stuff. It feels like I'm sitting by myself. Like it's like when you read a book or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I feel that, and it's weird. That's how crazy the day can get. That you really sitting down to like just play Madden or watch TV has become, oh, that's really cool. I get to do this for an hour.
Fucking idiot.
What happened?
Nothing. I'm just watching the end of this game. It's driving me fucking nuts.
Oh, God. Everything's going wrong, it seems like, for March Madness for you.
Yeah, it's not been a good year betting, like pick-wise or pick 'em with a bracket. My bracket's busted.
For anything. You're on like a year and a half like shithole streak, I feel like.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
You fuck. What are you even talking about?
Well,
My Red Sox won the World Series. What are you talking about?
Our Red Sox.
That's right. Our Red Sox,
I actually could see the...
Oh, to the hole! You scumbag.
You know what's weird is where I used to live, like when I was pulling in, when I was literally 40 seconds from home, as I was driving up the street, 40 seconds from home, across the water where Fenway was the lights. You could see the lights of Fenway in the sky. So that's pretty cool. Like, that's how close.
In the sky.
You couldn't see the lights. It was just, they were so bright it was above the sky and you see all of Boston.
Almost like a glow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, but it's right there. I mean, you can see the whole city of Boston. But, like, you know, the outside of the city is blocking.
I have got to go watch a game at Fenway, man. I have to.
You'd love that.
No,
so cool.
Because I love all those old, like it's kind of like where IU plays basketball. It's Assembly Hall. It's the same arena. It's like since the beginning of time.
Yeah, it's all old shit.
It's very old, and
I'm glad they were like supposed to build the new Fenway in like 2002 and then 2006 and that never ever happened. Thank God, because that building is, I don't give a shit. I love it.
Yeah, like rather than like demolish it, I like how they restore certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like instead of taking it all down, just restore some of this shit. It's like when if like they take a court up. I know it's different with a ballpark, but like if you take a basketball court up, like Celtics, what was the TD Garden?
Yeah.
When they tore the floor up, they like sell the pieces of the flooring and stuff. That shit's awesome.
Yeah, the original, when the Boston Garden was tore down. You know, I was listening to Bruce Pritchard talk about the Boston Garden the other day on one of the podcasts, and I retweeted it. I was like, hey, they talk a lot about Boston here. It's kind of cool. Or at least it was cool to me. And he was like, what are your memories of Boston? And Bruce Pritchard was like, somebody throwing an ice pick.
Dear God.
Into the ring. And I forget who he was in the ring with, but he was in the ring or something or other, and somebody, one of the wrestlers, was like, move. And you could see it coming from the balcony, apparently. And the ice pick went right through the ring. Right next to him, he said. He said, oh, yeah, so I love Boston.
I would. Yeah. Boston's great.
But it was
ice picks in Boston, and it's batteries in Philly.
No, well, it was batteries here, too. Remember, they hit Shawn Michaels in the face with a battery, WrestleMania 14. At the DX public workout.
Is that why his eyes all fucked up?
Hey, when did you start watching? Well, no, but when did you start watching wrestling? I don't think.
1994.
Wow. Okay, so WrestleMania 10.
No, it would have been. No, that's not true. That's absolutely incorrect. The first WrestleMania I ever saw was 8 when it was in Indy.
Okay. Okay, good. So this is great because this ties into the next thing I wanted to talk about.
What year was that? Just real quick before you talk about it. Just so I make sure I ain't got my years fucked up.
I want to say...
Remember, it was Piper and Bret Hart, right?
I think it was 1994 because I would have... Well, it might have been 93. Hold on. Mania 10. It might have been 93. Hold on. 94. It was 94. March 94.
Because didn't Sid main event it?
No.
He didn't?
No. I'll take another guess because you had Piper, right?
Well, it was Piper and Bret Hart, right?
Nope. That was Mania. That was Mania. That was Mania 11. Was Piper, Bret Hart, and Bob Backlund, and Bob Backlund was who Bret Hart was wrestling, and Piper was the special referee. I Quit match.
I'm gonna say, hold on a minute. Ric Flair wrestled at it. I remember that.
You're thinking of WrestleMania 8.
Well, that was in Indy, right?
Yeah. Oh, I was talking about Mania 10.
No. I remember 10. That was the ladder match and all that shit.
Yeah,
that was when Bret faced Owen, then he faced Yoko.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, no, then you're right about everything. Yeah, Piper and Bret were Mania 8. Ultimate Warrior came back. Hogan and Sid, main event. Yep. You're right about 8.
Yeah, see, that's when I was a kid. Like, that was all in the newspapers, and I was like, what is this? And then that's when I got hooked.
So the first thing I saw was Mania 5 at the video store, and I was probably...
Oh, the Coliseum video.
Yeah, that was big at the video store down the street. And, yeah, so we talked about a little bit of that on Remembering WrestleMania, but I don't think we ever asked you or talked about, like, your first WrestleMania. And I bring that up because I just listened to also the Bruce Pritchard Something to Wrestle with on WrestleMania 10. These things are amazing, you know, because Bruce is working with Vince, so he's telling us everything that went on that we didn't know about, you know. So like that's why Something to Wrestle with is like the best fucking podcast. It's the closest to Vince McMahon we'll ever get here. And he, you know, do you remember? I don't know if you remember this, but I do. I was a little bit older than you, so as a 10-year-old, I remember them talking about a 10-man tag on the show, and then they all of a sudden they cut to the 10-man tag people, and they're like, well, they can't figure out who the captains are going to be, so I guess we're not going to have the 10-man tag. And then they went on to the main event. And as a kid, I was always like, what the hell? I was like, they really pumped that up. Like they kept, I think there was like a rap or like a WrestleMania 10 song, and one of the things was in a 10-man tag, and they kept saying that 10-man tag, and it was like, okay, yeah, cool, that's going to be interesting. And they skipped it, and for years it was always like, you know, would they run out of time, I guess? You know, I don't know. And Bruce Pritchard clarified that. I think it already was known that they ran out of time, but he was like, yeah, we ran out of time, and I told him, nope, skip it. And he went through all the matches, how everybody went over, like too long. I thought that was hilarious. And I thought it was funny, at one point they thought Razor and Shawn like went too long, but it's like, well, that fucking match saved the show.
I saw something on the WWE YouTube channel where like Shawn and Razor were watching their match on 10.
Yes, I saw that too. That was cool.
I thought that was a pretty cool tidbit where he said that Macho Man pulled Razor aside in the back, and he was like, what did he say? You're very selfish.
You're very selfish, aren't you? Oh, they talked about that too. He said that on the you know, Macho fucked that whole thing up. It was all Macho's idea to have the Falls Count Anywhere match, and you know, it was bad, and then at the end he couldn't even hang him the right way or whatever, and it was just a shit show.
It was a mistake anyways. He's having a match with Crush.
Well, they were best friends, says Bruce, but they had no chemistry.
Oh my God. Joe, what was the match?
Who did Crush have chemistry with?
I was just getting ready to say, remember his match with Doink at, what was it, 9?
Yeah, the only reason why that was decent was because of the psychology of Doink, but Crush was terrible.
Crush was horrible.
Yeah, he really was bad.
Oh my gosh. Wait, and who did Lex wrestle?
At 10?
At 9.
Oh, at 9. Well, he was the narcissist, and he knocked out Perfect.
Yep, that was such a trash bag match.
Dude, I just did
except for Shawn and Tatanka. That was a good match.
That was the match of the show. I mean, a really good one.
Except that ended. May have reviewed that on the Monday night or Raw's Retro. I think I may have did that.
I think you did. I just did mine. I did my whole review of WrestleMania 9. I'm about to do 10, and
I would actually like to get in on that.
I would love to do them with you, because if we watch them or whatever, because I recommend this, JB. This is my formula for 9, but this is kind of like a little bit of work. You don't have to do this. I'm going to do this, but you don't have to. I watched all of WrestleMania 9, and then I listened to Bruce Pritchard's background of all of WrestleMania 9, the 2-hour podcast. So when I came into my WrestleMania 9 review, you know, I pulled out some of that information and then gave my opinion at the time of what I felt like when I was a kid. Because even the guy that does the podcast with Bruce, Conrad, he even said like he wasn't watching wrestling then, and I think that's interesting. But like I'm like, well, man, that sucks. You're going back and watching WrestleMania 10, but I mean, I actually watched it live like when I was 10. You know, I remember what I felt like then versus watching it now. It's a little bit different, but
I'm pretty sure that WrestleMania 10 was the first WrestleMania that my parents actually let us buy.
Right.
I'm pretty sure what I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first pay-per-view we ever got was a SummerSlam. No, Royal Rumble. That's what it was. 94, Brett and Razor. Awesome match, if you remember it.
So that was, oh God, it was, dude. The thing about Mania 10 was that was unfortunately I was moving at that time to Boston from New Hampshire. So my cousin taped it for me or something like that. We weren't home, so my older cousin taped it for me, and he delivered it probably a week or a few days later after it happened. And and I was dying to watch it. And unfortunately, one thing got spoiled for me. I think I might have, one of the matches was like, he told me or something, and I was like, oh no, don't tell me. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to know.
Of course, yeah.
And I watched the tape, and I actually still have that VHS to this day. He wrote on it WrestleMania 10. I have it. It's crazy. And dude, WrestleMania 9 though, going back to that review we must have done, that is hilarious. Like when you run down the sheet and you look at it, like Papa Shango opened the show in the dark match. Like that's fucking hilarious just in its own thing. Every finish, like Shawn Michaels is like a DQ count out or something.
The match with Tatanka?
Yeah. It ends
a good match. I don't remember the finish.
It's the horrible finish. It ends in like disqualification.
Well, it's not as bad as fucking Taker and Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah, so like Shawn gets disqualified. Giant Gonzalez chloroforms the Undertaker. Doink the Clown.
Oh my God.
You see Double Doink comes from under the ring and hits a man with an arm. And what
Joe,
else?
do you know leading up to that Mania build on the Raw, like Doink was just walking around in the crowd shooting people with water guns?
Yeah.
Oh,
And you remember he had a fake arm too at one point.
it was the guy that played Skinner, the wrestler Skinner.
Oh yeah.
He was the second Doink.
I did not know that. I mean, I heard the guy's
the
name.
Wrestler Skinner was the Double Doink.
That's funny.
Actually, the Double Doink is Cody Parkey, but that's another story.
Oh.
Poor Bears fans. But yeah, like, you know what's interesting about like the pay-per-view thing? That was such like a rarity at my house.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned a million times I used to watch the Scribble Scrabble channel, but it wasn't until 1995 when we actually started getting into the pay-per-view game, because my grandpa, he loved wrestling. And when he found out about In Your Houses, he was all over it.
Right.
Because In Your House was special because it was only $20.
Yeah, they lowered the price so people could afford it, kind of.
They lowered the price, and it was every month. So he would always order it, record it on a VHS, and then when we would come to my grandpa's house, he'd play it for us.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
I remember he would watch it too and like know the finishes.
Yeah,
and then we'd all predict them.
Somebody recently said that.
Every one of them right.
Somebody would say that. Somebody recently said, dude, they were like, how did you guys do that back then or whatever? And I was like, it was just kind of like Game of Thrones or something. You waited, you had to wait a week for the show to come out, and it just felt like you were waiting a week for, and it wasn't like there was super.
And it wasn't hard either.
Yeah, and the internet wasn't, like, the internet just was starting.
It was in its infancy.
Yeah, nobody, like, only like tech people had it in 92, and I mean,
like there were no dirt sheets or anything like that. Like at that point, to be honest with you, I didn't even think that wrestling was fucking fake.
Only for the older people who had subscriptions to magazines and stuff like that. Yeah. But the card of 9 is hilarious. Hold on. Yeah, Leah's going to drop him off at a friend's house, and then all her friends and stuff and boyfriends are there to play D&D. And I've gone, but the time I went, I didn't play, so I didn't make a character. So I still don't have a character. I mean, they could roll me into it and everything, but yeah. I don't know.
Faggots.
But to wrap this up, I guess for now.
How did you rope me into talking and wrestling?
You see that? Well, I'll be getting
that was wild.
I'm getting the itch because WrestleMania is coming up,
Yep. Did I tell you that I caved and took the day off?
No. Well, you were fucking ready to drive up to New York the other day.
What?
The other day you were ready to drive up to New York.
I was thinking, well, I took the day off like 3 weeks ago. I was like, you know what? This would be weird. This would be the first time in like 12 years that I hadn't taken WrestleMania off. And I was like, fuck it. I don't even know any matches. I think I know Batista and Triple H. I don't know anything else.
Dude, that's what everybody says. Everybody who's not like in on what's going on right now just goes, oh, Batista and Triple H. It's so funny.
I only know that because of that promo you did.
Yeah, it was a funny promo.
I'm going to give it to you.
Dude, they had such excitement going on up until that. Like, it became, it's like in July. I don't know if you saw that Raw in July. He goes, no. I mean, they were all having a suck fest. Like all the old, like Ric Flair and Batista and Triple H, and they're having a reunion of the Evolution, sort of. And he goes, man, I got so much respect for Triple H and everything. And he's like, you beat everybody, you know, in this business. You've done everything. And it's convincing. And then all of a sudden he goes, except you haven't beat me. And then the crowd like went, rah, and people went crazy. And all of a sudden I said, man, I think Batista's a fucking flaming idiot. But all of a sudden I'm interested in this guy. I said, I can't believe it. I actually want to see this. And then you're getting the idea it's going to happen. And then cool. And then they cut that promo the other night, and I'm just fucking cackling. I'm just laughing.
All right.
Okay.
This is a weird one because I don't know where we left off. This probably isn't going to make any sense.
Yeah, we just paused it, guys. So if we don't make any sense right now, it's because
I know that we kind of ended with like the Batista Triple H thing, but I wanted to ask you a question. Like, there's always like the stories of like the Evolution guys or like the like the Clique. Like, if you could like go to like the point of like the highest party point with any clique of people, who would you like go to?
The highest party point with any group.
Like, because you know that Flair and Orton and Batista were like, because Triple H he's a fag, he doesn't drink, but like, you know that their bar tab would have been insane. Yeah, but like even go even further, go to like the Four Horsemen or like the Midnight Express or whatever. Like, who would you like go back with and like just like chauffeur them?
I honestly, dude, seriously, I honestly believe the answer is got to be either the Four Horsemen or the NWO.
Oh, dude. You mean like Nash, Hall, and Hogan?
Yeah, like when it first started, just hanging around those
and probably
guys.
Once Sean got there, too.
What?
Waltman.
Oh, okay, yeah. All that time with Hogan and Nash and Scott Hall, like probably
they didn't pay for a fucking thing.
Yeah, they just probably showed up places and pussy was everywhere and cocaine and beer and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like though the NWO's party was more like trashy, whereas like the Four Horsemen were more like, you know what I mean, like a little more. Like,
I don't know, man. When I picture the Four Horsemen, I picture like a fucking Led Zeppelin locker room orgy before they have their matches.
What kind of woman bangs Arn Anderson? It looks like his head's been caved in and he looks like a demented gremlin.
I don't know, man. There's something about those 80 chicks where they just want to suckle on those hairy teats.
You like that? You like that, bitch?
I'm going to DDT your cunt.
I'm going to DDT you. Oh, my God, dude.
He says it all quiet. I'm going to DDT your cunt.
I'm going to DDT your cunt, man. Fucking holy shit.
Flair's in the back just, woo, dicks out. Just fucking.
Yeah, he's like the psycho. Arn Anderson is like, hell yeah, sweetheart, suck on that dick. And then Ric Flair's in the back like, woo, you like that? I'll lick it all night. And
Flair's licking Arn's ass. He's like, woo.
Rick, what the fuck? That's me. Woo, like, oh, my bad, daddy. Oh, go.
My bad, daddy. Oh, woo. Oh, my God. That's too funny. I don't know, man. Something tells me that, like, the, almost like the Sean Diesel Razor 1, 2, 3 kid, and then Triple H is just driving around. You would think that would have been crazy, too, because Sean was invincible. He's untouchable. He got fucked by Vince and Pat, so he had a free ride.
I think instead of like with Shawn Michaels and them and those guys, like the question would change for me. The answer would change from I wouldn't want to be hanging around the NWO and I wouldn't want to be hanging around Sean like the NWO and the Four Horsemen. I would just want to be Sean.
Right.
Like remember like all the stuff he did with Sonny that Sonny came out with?
Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't want to be Sean Waltman. Not at that time. Maybe now. I like Sean Waltman. It's pretty cool dude.
I don't know, man. I'd rather been Sean Waltman than Sean Waltman China.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, then, but yeah, he was so fucked up, and now he walks around with a dog. I mean, I don't know if I ever want to be him. Nah.
What? What's wrong with him? He walks a dog and you're like, fuck that.
No, I'm just joking around. Actually, Sean Waltman's become a great guy now.
You know what's funny about him is I actually watched his Table for 3 episode, and he's really recovered.
Oh yeah. Like when I
he looks so good now.
When I met him twice, he was just, and he got better each time because he just started when I first met him, I think. And then he just goes way better. He's really cool to talk to you about anything. I just love that. You can tell a lot of these guys when you meet them, like if they're, you know, they don't give a shit. You know, most, like, yeah, fuck off. You know, I'm cool, you know. You know, and it's weird because I heard Billy Gunn.
Raven was like that when he came.
Oh,
here.
Raven was a piece of shit, dude.
Yeah, he was bad.
When
we were in the back, people were going over finishes, you know?
Yeah.
And he walks in the back, and I was just kind of like writing shit down, you know? And the dude he was having a match with, he was all like, so what do you want to do? And he was like, whatever gets me out of here paid quicker.
Yeah, that's basically it.
And it was just, and he was, but he did, like, people would come up and say hi, and he would just, like, turn his back to him, and he'd, I swear to God, he spent, like, 30 hours putting the fucking tape on his wrist. It was so annoying.
Well,
I just wanted to lug a fucking water bottle at him.
What was weird is, like, when I met him, you know, I just started trying to talk to him, and I was like, hey, Raven, man, it's great to see you, man, and I was like, and he just kind of looked at me like, fuck you. Like, and then I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So then it just got weirder. You know, it just got
weirder. You know who
weirder.
one of the nicest guys was I ever met? I mean, he wasn't huge, but was Nova.
Nova.
Yeah, he was like the workout guy when he went up to the WWE after the buyout. What was his name?
I know what you're talking about.
The guy who like came out on the fucking the thing that security guards ride on. What's his name? Why am I drawing a blank? I mean, it's Mike Busey.
The guy from the BWO?
Yeah, he was in the BWO. He was Nova.
Well, of course, he was nice. He was a piece of shit.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, he wasn't a piece of shit. He was a good wrestler.
No, I'm just joking. I just said that to be a dickhead for
who
no
was
reason.
Who the fuck was he on the main roster? Why can't I think of him?
Wasn't he the guy with, didn't he do something with Edge or something like that?
Dude, I can't remember. I know.
I can't remember him either. I don't know.
He's like, he actually, we added each other on Facebook after he came here and worked.
Relax. Relax. Come on.
I'm just saying he's a nice guy.
You gay.
Simon Dean.
Oh, that's who he was in WWE?
Yeah, he was Simon Dean.
Yeah.
But he was really, really nice. But he's like best friends with Mark Henry. And every year when the Dallas Cowboys have the opening day at the Dallas Stadium, he always posts a bunch of pictures on Facebook, and it's awesome. It's just like him and Mark Henry just like guzzling beers and shit.
Have you seen Amber Nova? Fuck this guy. Have you seen Amber Nova? Look at this. Apparently she's a wrestler.
Holy God. Are you sure she's not like a porn star?
Oh my God. Wow. Somebody hire her.
Yikes. Where'd this come from?
I don't know. I just typed in Nova and she comes up.
Let's get her on the show right now.
Look at the
Say
abs.
dirty stuff to her.
I want her to bust her fucking abs over my head. And break my dick off. This is fucked up. See, this is the type, nowadays it'd be like, wrestling podcast. Oh my God.
What?
Where does she, what is up with her? We gotta look
What do you
up,
mean?
We gotta do some information searching on who this girl is.
Lord have mercy. She's chiseled out of stone.
Yeah, this girl's like the female Finn Balor.
Finn Balor's a faggot.
Amber Nova. I've heard of her before, though, I feel like.
Look at that, dude. Good
Wow.
Lord.
All right, let me go to Twitter right now.
Like an Amazonian.
Yeah, like something right of Xena. She could, like, this is the girl you would have been like, that's Wonder Woman right there.
Yeah.
God damn.
Tryouts, my house.
That's
Jeez.
fucking horrible. Tryouts, my house. Oh, man.
Let's wrap this one up, because I got to shit.
I just did that. We paused because of that. Yeah, you got to jerk off is what you got to do.
That's what it is.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we'll catch you guys in the next episode of Bailey and Cronin. This was episode 8. Leave your comments down below. Leave some love to us on Twitter and everywhere else. And make sure to become a patron so you can hear these full audio episodes on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show.